Hey everyone, and welcome back. You guys know how much I love digging into the tech world, and today's deep dive is going to be a good one. We're talking AI chips, baby. Specifically, the battle brewing between the titans, Nvidia and AMD. Now, you listeners sent over a ton of articles, analyses, all sorts of juicy stuff about this face-off. So we're going to wade through it all, figure out what's really going on, and hopefully answer some big questions along the way. Like, is Nvidia's dominance unbreakable? Or is AMD a real threat? What do those crazy high PE ratios actually tell us? And how are things like new export restrictions and, global competition going to shake things up? So to help me break it all down, I've got an expert in the house.
Hey everyone, thanks for having me. I'm excited to dive into this.
Awesome. All right. So let's kick things off with Nvidia, the current king of the AI chip hill. Their stock's sitting pretty at $137.71 with a PE ratio of 51.84, which for folks who aren't stock market wizards like myself, what does that even mean?
Haha. Yeah, PE ratios can sound a bit intimidating, but they're actually pretty simple. Basically, it's how much investors are willing to pay for each dollar of a company's earnings. So a high PE like Nvidia, especially in a fast-growing field like semiconductors, usually means investors are expecting big things down the line. And the fact that it's pretty much in line with their historical average, it suggests some stability there. Like investors are confident that Nvidia is going to keep on trucking even with all the hype around AI.
And speaking of hype, some analysts at Bank of America are calling this a generational opportunity. For NVIDIA, even throwing out a price target of $190. Generational opportunity? Now that sounds serious. So what are they seeing that's making them so bullish on NVIDIA?
Well, it all boils down to the potential of AI to revolutionize pretty much every industry out there. We're talking self-driving cars that can navigate crazy traffic, doctors using AI to create super personalized treatments, even your fridge knowing when you're low on milk and ordering it for you. And NVIDIA's chips are basically the brains powering a lot of these innovations. So as AI becomes more and more integrated into our lives, they're in a prime position to reap the rewards.
And those rewards could be massive.
Mhm.
Analysts are predicting NVIDIA's earnings per share, or EPS, could hit $5.58 by January 2027. And just so everyone's on the same page, EPS is basically the company's profit divided by the number of shares. So a higher EPS means more money for each share you own. Pretty impressive, huh?
Definitely impressive. But there's a potential roadblock. We got to talk about those U.S. export restrictions on AI chips to China.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. How much of a hit could that be for NVIDIA?
Well, China is a huge market for chip makers. I mean, massive. So these restrictions could definitely put a dent in NVIDIA's revenue. Plus, it might give some of their competitors, like AMD, a chance to swoop in and grab some market share.
Which brings us to the challenger, AMD. Their stock's currently at $121.46 with a PE ratio of 106.76. Now, what's interesting is that's actually lower than their 7-year average, which seems a little strange, right? You'd think a company in a booming sector like AI would have a PE ratio through the roof.
Yeah, you'd think so, right? This lower PE ratio, it could be a sign that some investors are a bit hesitant about AMD's ability to really go toe-to-toe with NVIDIA. Or maybe they're worried about AMD's performance in other areas like, the traditional CPU market.
But let's not forget, AMD's been making some big moves lately. Their data center revenue has skyrocketed 122% year over year. And some analysts are predicting they could pull in a whopping $9 to $10 billion in data center AI revenue by 2025.
Yeah, AMD's playing the game smart. They're pouring tons of resources into research and development, trying to catch up to NVIDIA in terms of technology, and they're going after market share aggressively, aiming to be the top dog for both GPUs and CPUs. Some analysts are even predicting AMD's stock could double in value by 2025, hitting $250.
Whoa. Okay, so we've got NVIDIA, the established giant, with a ton of momentum. And then we've got AMD, the ambitious underdog, trying to shake things up. It's a classic David and Goliath story, and it's anyone's guess who comes out on top.
Yeah, it's a real nail biter. There are so many factors that could tip the scales, like, new tech breakthroughs, global politics, even just the overall direction the AI market decides to take.
Right, exactly. So we've covered the financials, the players, the stakes. It's a lot to take in. But at the end of the day, what does all this mean for our listeners out there?
I think the big takeaway is to stay informed. Keep your finger on the pulse of what these companies are doing, what kind of innovations they're coming out with, how their strategies are evolving.
Absolutely. And maybe ask yourself this, if you were placing bets on this AI showdown, who would you put your money on? It's a tough question, but that's what makes this whole thing so fascinating. Right, thanks for joining us today, folks. And keep exploring the world of AI. It's only going to get wilder from here.